Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching, yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
Some familiar faces are out here in the Bronx. David Ortiz is here with his Boston Red Sox, and they're seeing some old familiar faces as well. Former teammate Jacoby Ellsbury giving some love to Brian Butterfield, the Red Sox third base coach. Yep, Yankees and the Red Sox. It's time for baseball as the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the New York Yankees against the Boston Red Sox, and the first of three from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball, along with David Cohn and John Flaherty. I'm Michael Kay. Well, yesterday was an off day for the New York Yankees and for the Boston Red Sox as well. They're both coming off series they'd like to forget, but the Yankees finished their series against the Toronto Blue Jays on a positive note. They won the game, and they had a big third inning, which kind of ran the whole course.
Well, the Yankees have had trouble scoring runs, and they finally had a big inning scoring 4 runs in the third. It started with Cervelli, a little hit and run by Joe Girardi, and it's going to pay off. That will score Kelly Johnson all the way from first base, and the Yankees are on their way in the third. Later on, Ellsbury, a line drive right back up the middle. That's going to score Cervelli easily. 2 runs on the board already. And then Mark Teixeira is going to come up. His 14th home run of the year, just scoops one over the wall in right field. And finally, a big offensive inning for the New York Yankees.
Well, in a period of about a week, the Yankees played the Blue Jays 6 times. They won 4 of those games, so they're just a game behind them in the loss column. And the Orioles, the same deal. The Red Sox, though, the defending world champions, look where they are. What has happened to them at 36 and 43? They are 8 games off the pace. Let's take a look at tonight's pitching matchup, brought to you by Chevrolet. Brandon Workman will get the start for the Red Sox, 1-0, 2.88, and Vidal Nuno for the Yankees, 1-4 with a 5.88 ERA. Who's he going to face? Well, that leads us to tonight's Cold Hard Facts, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. You see some of the numbers with the Red Sox, but David, it begs the question, how could the defending champions be struggling like this?
Well, it just goes to show you how everything went so right for them last year. Pitching, defense, timely hitting, it has not been there this year. They really do miss Jacoby Ellsbury. The Yankees plucked him away from the Red Sox, and he's batted third and first for the Yankees, but really the top of the order for the Red Sox has been a real problem. Jackie Bradley Jr. has not come through as of yet. They're still searching for the answer at the top of their order.
Well, that's the team the Yankees are going to face. 3 games here this weekend. Vidal Nuno gets the start. Why him? Why not skip over him because of the off day? That was a question that Joe Girardi didn't like that much. Meredith Morakovich will explain when we get back.
The 3-game series between the Yankees and their AL East rival, the Boston Red Sox, coming your way in just a little bit. Hey, everyone, I'm Meredith Morakovich. Vidal Nuno will get the ball for the Yankees tonight, and he struggled a little bit here at Yankee Stadium. With the off day yesterday, Joe Girardi could have decided to skip his turn in the rotation. However, he did not, and he explained why earlier today.
I'm going to say this the last time today, all right? The last time, because I've answered this question 10 times, all right? And I'm not irritated, but I don't understand. Tanaka is a guy The most is thrown 226 innings. He's on pace to throw 226 innings. He's been a guy that's used to pitching every 7 days. I've been asked over the last, 8 months, 100 times, do you think Kuroda got tired? Do you think Kuroda got tired? I have a guy in Chase Whitley that's made 20 starts in his career. The most he's ever thrown in a year is 95 innings. David Phelps is not a guy that's been a starter every year. So it's about 5 guys. It's not about Tanaka. If I move Tanaka up today, he makes 6 starts in 30 days, every 5 days. What starter does that? We don't play more than 20 days in a row. No starters do that because it's physically too tough. So when you have a chance to give a guy an extra day, you do. He's going to make 4 starts, 3 on everyday rest. So are some of the other guys. I have to be careful. It's a long season. And if I start him today or tomorrow, he still makes the same number of starts before the All-Star break. So I'm going to say it last. This is about 5 guys. It's not about 1 guy. And question answered.
Flash, Cone, and Kay coming your way next with lineups First Pitch Baseball right here on Yes.
Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Jeep. To learn more, visit Jeep.com. By Blimpie. Get the most for your money with Blimpie $5 deals. Choose from 4 of your Blimpie favorites. Blimpie, America's sub shop. And by your Tri-State BMW Centers. Beautiful summer evening here in New York City. We have the Yankees and the Red Sox. First game of a 3-game set from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. No, not at Central Park. The park in the Bronx called Yankee Stadium. Yankees have taken the field. Vidal Nuno is on the mound. And we'll take a look at the Red Sox starting lineup. Red Sox coming at 36 and 43, and they lead off Brock Holt, their right fielder. Dustin Pedroia, the second baseman, bats second, batting third, and DHing David Ortiz. Mike Napoli at first base will clean up. Batting fifth, playing left field, Johnny Gomes. A.J. Przinsky will catch. He'll bat sixth. Batting seventh, playing third base, Xander Bogaerts. The shortstop is Stephen Drew, batting eighth, and batting ninth, and playing center field, Jackie Bradley Jr.
See the lefty, Vidal Nuno, is going to get the start tonight. See his numbers on the year, and they tell a story. He needs a good one tonight, and a lot of criticism of whether or not he should be in the rotation at this point, but he gets another opportunity, and pitching here at Yankee Stadium, this is a big one for him. And we'll go ahead and give you the pitcher scouting report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers, and along those lines, 15 and 67, that's 15 home runs and 67 in the third innings, and that's tied for third most in the AL, and the 4 pitchers ahead of him or tied have thrown at least 98 innings. And not sweet home, 7.09 ERA in the Bronx. That's the second highest home ERA in the majors, minimum 30 innings pitched. And Kobe Lewis down in Texas is the only one with a higher one, and not flying solo. This is the real key. 9 of his 15 home runs have been with men on base. 6 2-run shots and 3 3-run shots.
Brock Holt is ready, so is Nuno. Let's do it here in the Bronx. First pitch is outside, and we are underway. Red Sox offense has stalled most of the year. Brock Holt has been a revelation for them as they're trying to find a leadoff hitter. Played 5 different positions. He's in right field tonight, hitting .323.
Michael, you mentioned that Red Sox lineup struggling a little bit. Only 59 home runs. That's 12th in the American League. Just doesn't sound right when you talk about a Red Sox club.
Leadoff hitters have not done the job. They miss Ellsbury in that sense. He has done the job since moving to leadoff on May 23rd. Since he became the leadoff hitter, 47 hits, and that's the most from that spot in Major League Baseball in that time. The 3-1, and Brock Holt walks. Why don't we check out the Yankee defense behind Nuno, and it's presented by Geico. In the outfield, Gardner, Ellsbury, and Suzuki left to right. Infield, Johnson, Jeter, Robertson, Teixeira third to first. Brian McCann behind the plate. Vidal Nuno is on the mound. There's Dustin Pedroia. To piggyback on your points, John, 3.8 runs per game for Boston, 25th in Major League Baseball. And they are not the same team that won the World Series last year. David, I think that you alluded to it in the open as well. They played last year with such an intensity, and everything went right. And everything has not gone right. You can't have that intensity 2 years in a row, I guess.
Well, you really can't. And, we talked about Jacoby Ellsbury being missed at the top of the lineup. Jared Saltalamacchia, too, had a good year last year. In the catching position, kind of parlayed that into a free agent deal down in Miami. So that perfect storm that happened last year has not replicated itself this year so far. But they still have some pop in the middle of the order. And that guy right there has swung the bat pretty well. He has been a Yankee killer. Kind of the pick to click for the Red Sox, especially against Nuno tonight. The right-handed pop in the Red Sox order.
The 1-2. Strike 3. Pedroia down looking. 1 away. Yankees baseball is available in Spanish by hitting the SAP button on your television. SAP is brought to you by Infinity.
Take another look at the strikeout pitch. Looked like a high cutter. Nuno gets the call. Home plate umpire Mike Winters. Everybody you talk to around the Red Sox say, you know what, if David Ortiz hits and Napoli hits, they have a chance to win ball games. Everybody else, the numbers are down. This guy right here having another David Ortiz type year.
38 years old. Has 18 home runs and 49 runs batted in. His average is, I'd say, about 20 points lower than his lifetime average, but the power numbers are there. Holt leads off first. Then Vidal Nuno goes over. The 1-0. High pop-up. Roberts makes the play for the second out. Let's look at the game time weather presented by Bigelow Tea. It's a beautiful summer night here in New York City. 74 degrees, 55% humidity. Wind is 9 miles per hour. It is indeed a great night for baseball. Greatest city in the world right there. There's Mike Napoli. And a strike. Boy, Nuno must have a lot of incentive to pitch well. He knows everybody's been saying, day off, why didn't you skip Overman? If you joined us right at the start, you heard Joe Girardi's vigorous defense of that decision to start Tanaka tomorrow and keep Nuno in rotation. And Joe's allowed to get mad if he's asked a question 10 times. He didn't treat anybody poorly or insult anybody. He just, with vigor, defended that decision. Swing and a miss.
You watch Nuno pitch, and David, you talked about all the home runs he's given up this year for not a hard-throwing left-hander. A lot of pitches up in the zone. Talked about this the last time against Baltimore. Maybe a few more two-seamers down. And try to get some more ground balls. See if he can do that tonight.
Yeah, Flash, it's a great point. When you look at the breakdown of his pitches, he only throws about 10% changeups in terms of his overall repertoire. So there really isn't a pitch that sinks. You see, that's a cutter in. That's one of the pitches he's gotten burned on, is trying to come inside on right-handed batters. Those are the pitches he's left out over the plate. Really worked hard with Larry Rothschild on that cutter and getting the ball in when you come in on right-handed batters, because that's a home run pitch if you don't get it in there.
The 0-2 outside. Home run ball has been very prevalent in his last 10 innings. The 1-2. 2-2.
Usually for a catcher and Brian McCann tonight, you get a pitcher with 2 strikes. Johnny Gomes waiting on deck. There's one pitch that jumps out at you. We can get a swing and a miss. You don't feel that way with Nuno. He doesn't have that big-time breaking ball or, the lack of a quality changeup like you talked about. It's like you're going to get a strikeout. It's going to be at the corner, getting one of these hitters to look at it.
You see a lot of general managers across both leagues looking for that strikeout ground ball type pitcher, and Nuno's kind of profiled more as a fly ball type pitcher so far.
Strike 3. Napoli down looking. No runs, no hits, no errors. One man left. Red Sox nothing, and the Yankees coming to bat. First inning, Red Sox don't score in the top of the first. Here's the Yankees starting lineup presented by Lexus. The left fielder is Brett Gardner. He'll lead off. Batting second, the captain, the shortstop, now 40 years old, Derek Jeter. Batting third, the center fielder, Jacoby Ellsbury. Mark Teixeira at first base will clean up. Batting fifth, the DH, Carlos Beltran. Brian McCann's going to catch. He'll bat sixth. Batting seventh, playing second base, Brian Roberts. Ichiro Suzuki's in right field. He'll hit eighth. And batting ninth and playing third base, Kelly Johnson.
See the big right-hander for Boston. 6'5", 2 1/4 on the weight scale, and he is a prospect, and he's off to a good start so far, as you see in limited time. He now finds himself in the rotation, and that's where he's been ticketed, because he was a second-round draft back in 2010 by the Red Sox. Go ahead and give you the pitcher scouting report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. And back from timeout, he just came off of a 6-game suspension for throwing at Evan Longoria and 5:30, kind of a retaliatory issue they had going down there in Tampa and Boston. And Prospect Park, he was Baseball America's 8th-ranked Red Sox prospect, tapped for the best curveball and the best control in the farm system. And interstate, so far this year, it's a small sample size, but just 185 opponent batting average against. That's the 10th lowest in the AL. Minimum 30 innings pitched.
Now 1-1 on Gardner. Gardner had 3 hits and 11 at bats in Toronto. Yankees coming at 40 and 37. Count 2-1.
Well, if you wanted to get a scouting report on Workman and what he throws, it's fastball about 91, 92. He'll throw a cutter and a curveball that David talked about 20% of the time. It's his big strikeout pitch.
Gardner, fly ball, left field, foul, and into the seats. Let's check out the defense for the Red Sox, presented by Geico. And the outfield, Gomes, Bradley, and Holt, left to right. The outfield has not done a great job for the Red Sox this year. Bogarts, Drew, Pedroia, and Napoli third to first. A.J. Przinsky behind the plate. Brandon Workman on the mound. Swing and a miss. Gardner down on strikes, 1 away. That's going to bring up Derek Jeter. Celebrated his 40th birthday yesterday. So with Jeter and Ichiro in the lineup tonight, as Jeter lines one into right field, a base hit. With Jeter and Ichiro in the lineup today, it's the first time in Yankee franchise history that 2 non-pitchers, both age 40 or older, started a game for the Yanks.
Well, you celebrate your 40th birthday with an off day last night. Come back first at bat, a little base hit to right field. Bad way to start off the series.
Here's Jacoby Ellsbury. Now you look at his numbers, they're representative, but the Red Sox desperately miss him. They let him leave as a free agent because they thought they had the answer to him in Jackie Bradley Jr., and Jackie Bradley Jr. struggled. And they have spent most of the season trying to find somebody at the top of the lineup that could replace Jacoby Ellsbury.
And it looks like Brock Holt is going to be that guy now, but you're right, Bradley Jr. has struggled, and you know, it's a tough call for an organization when you have a free agent and a young prospect. And you look around this Red Sox team, Bogarts didn't work out that well. He's not having the year that he had, a small sampling size last year, and Bradley Jr. has really struggled.
Grounded, fair, inside first and down the right field line. It kicks out to Holt. He'll play it. Going into second with a double is Ellsbury. Stopping at third is Jeter.
Talked about Workman. He's got a big-time curveball. This looks more like a cutter, and it just spins middle of the plate. And Ellsbury's swinging a hot bat lately. Right by Napoli down the line. Jeter will get to third base easily. Yankees scored 5 runs the last game in Toronto. Looking to get off to a good start here in the first.
Manager John Farrell, his first year they win a championship, and now struggling. Here's Mark Teixeira. The Red Sox shift. 3 infielders on the right side. The pitch high. That's about as extreme a shift as we've seen on Teixeira, because you'll see that no one's near second base. And he goes the other way and lofts it to left field. That's going to score Jeter, who tags. Gomes makes the catch. The throw comes into third. It's a sac fly for Teixeira. His 40th ribby. It gives the Yankees a 1-0 lead.
Not sure if it was the pitch flash or if Teixeira had this in mind, but certainly good plate coverage. That's off the plate, probably a ball. And Teixeira drives it well the other way. Enough to get a sac fly, although Ellsbury does stay at second.
There's Carlos Beltran. And he chops that one to first. Nice hop for Napoli. He'll take it himself, and that'll do it. But the Yankees take the lead. 1 run on 2 hits. 1 man left on base. We played 1. It's 1-0 Yanks.
Well, we talked a lot about Vidal Nuno and his pitch location and some of the home runs he's given up. And you can see here, down and away, it's supposed to go, and it ends up. And we said he's profiled as a high ball pitcher, trying to come in on Adam Jones there, up and out over the plate. His misses need to be down, not up, because those are the ones that go a long way. He doesn't really have strikeout stuff, so his misses need to get the ball on the ground. And his misses so far, when he's given up home runs, are the ones that are up and out over the plate.
Johnny Gomes leads off the second, takes outside 1-0. Yankees lead 1-0 on Teixeira's sac fly.
I guess the bottom line, David, and you said his stuff is not overpowering. So if you're not overpowering, you can't get away with location mistakes. You got to pitch to the corners more, pitch down more.
I always thought, Flash, it was easier for a pitcher to work down to up. Make all your misses on all your pitches, miss low first, and then adjust up from there.
Line drive left field. It's a base hit in front of Gardner. So a leadoff single for Johnny Gomes.
It's good plate coverage from Johnny Gomes. As you see, he reaches out and hooks that ball into left field.
You know what? I watching Nuno, and I talked about it early on. You know, maybe a few more two-seamers, some sinkers. Is it that easy just to come up with a sinker?
No, he's probably got more side-to-side movement than downward tilt on his two-seamer. It's probably more of a running two-seam fastball than it is an actual sinker.
And I've caught so many guys who throw two-seamers, it almost just becomes, okay, that's an easy pitch to learn, as opposed to a split or a curveball. It's probably not that easy, is my point.
Yeah, it's you know, it's a difference between being able to throw for a strike and just bouncing it all the time. I mean, to be effective, you have to have it near the strike zone or at the bottom of the strike zone. I think the key with Nuno, once again, you know, his best off-speed pitches are probably, you know, his slider and his curveball. 43% fastballs at about 88 miles an hour. 31 or so percent sliders at about 82 miles an hour, and then 16% curveballs. Just 10% changeups. That's probably the pitch that gives him the best chance to get the ball down, to get a little bit of tilt, sinking action to it. The best part about Nuno, he works fast, he gets a lot of quick outs, throws a lot of strikes. When he's rolling, boy, he can roll through some outs in a hurry. Sometimes you get a little too carried away, and when you're throwing a lot of strikes and you're working fast and then your misses come out up over the plate, then the quick damage happens.
One off speed on 3-1.
Well, that's Brzezinski right there. He will go up there swinging the bat. Not a guy who has ever liked to walk in his career.
Johnny has the highest percentage of swings of pitches outside the strike zone in the big leagues, 49%.
You look at his career numbers, he's over 280 for a career with the batting average. Playing the catching position obviously beats you up a little bit, but he's always been a high average offensive player. He's also been a guy who can annoy a lot of opponents, trash talking.
Continuing to foul off pitches. Count remains 3-2.
One thing Brzezinski's been is durable. You know, the latter part of his career here is still very desirable. Several teams were looking at him as a free agent possibility, more along the lines of a one-year stopgap. Here in Boston, probably maybe another year, depending on how it goes.
Runner goes, and that one is driven out to right field. Ichiro is there. He'll make the catch. He fires into first, but heading back is Gomes. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is celebrating 12 years. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 devices. Visit Yankees.com for details. Here is Xander Bogaerts. Bogaerts had such a good postseason last year as the Red Sox won the championship. They said, we're not going to sign Stephen Drew to a long-term deal. He could be our shortstop. And Will Middlebrooks will be at third. Middlebrooks has been hurt. Bogaerts has been okay, but certainly not what he was in the postseason lately. He's just 5 for 40 as his average is dipping. And things were so bad on the left side of the infield that they did go out and sign Stephen Drew for the rest of the year. And Stephen Drew, who's on deck, has been really, really anemic offensively since coming back.
Bogaerts, his offensive numbers have gone south ever since Drew has come back, and he's moved over to third base. You don't know if there's a coincidence there or just going through a tough stretch.
He played with such confidence and calm in the postseason last year that people were referring to Derek Jeter, how he played in '96 for the Yankees in the postseason, and they thought that would just continue, but it hasn't. He's just 21 years old. The 0-2, 1-2, and he's still in their plans because, again, Drew was just signed for this year.
I think Flash brings up a great point. I mean, Bogart's had some decent numbers, really, for the better part of the first half as we're rapidly approaching the halfway point in the Major League season. Moving to third base has affected him.
As he swings and misses for the second out.
That would probably be my biggest concern for a guy, 21 years old, you said, Miami?
Yep.
Now we're moving you from shortstop. We're signing a veteran to take your job, and now you have to go to third. How is that going to affect? A veteran player would be upset about it. Rookie, that's a lot to deal with, or second-year guy.
Yeah, especially if that's the guy you have ticketed as your shortstop with a future.
Right.
And here's Stephen Drew. Now, the Red Sox did make Drew a qualifying offer, which kind of curtailed his market. He turned down the $14 million for 1 year, which meant that if he signed a free agent contract anywhere, the Red Sox would get draft pick compensation. That certainly served as a drag on his market. And it's a fly ball into right center. On the run is Ichiro. He makes the play. Ichiro Suzuki on the run took an extra base hit away from Stephen Drew. No runs a hit, 1 man left. We go to the bottom of the second. Conversation brought to you by Toyota. Prius is the official hybrid vehicle of the Yankees. We started it with this. How many American League East teams do you think will make the playoffs, and why? Is it 1, 2, or 3? Madison Mills 28-2. Yankees and Red Sox. I think both teams make trades at the deadline. It will make a difference in the AL East race. First pitch to Brian McCann is low. Follow Yes Network and tweet us your responses using hashtag Yankees Prius to keep the conversation going. The 1-0 to McCann. A strike. McCann did not play on Wednesday in Toronto, and yesterday was an off day, so a full 2 days off for Brian. He had 2 hits on Tuesday and was robbed of the third. Pops it up. Workman gets called off by Napoli for the first out. We're in the bottom of the second inning. It's 1-0 Yankees. Brian Roberts comes up, batting left-handed against the righty Workman. The Red Sox pitching has probably been their strongest suit so far this year. They're fourth in the American League with a 3.78 ERA. They have 46 quality starts by their starters. And their bullpen ERA is 2.96, which is second best to the Mariners at 2.64, and they are 28-0 leading after the 8th inning. So that is their strength. But talking to some Red Sox people before the game, they're concerned that their strength is being overused. And I think you always worry about that when your starters don't give you length. I'm sure the Yankees worry about it as well.
Good news for the Red Sox also. Clay Buchholz came back and pitched better. Off a stint on the disabled list, but I think that's why there's some optimism here, though, in Boston, that you have a rotation like that. You could go on a winning streak if you figure some things out offensively. Shane Victorino should be coming back off the DL soon.
The big scuttlebutt in Boston is there is another prospect on the horizon that's knocking on the door, and his name is Mookie Betts. He's 21 years old, and he's down in AAA hitting .330. He played right field for the first time the other night. He's a second baseman, and they moved him to the outfield, played center field. Little signal to Boston. A lot of people think over the next week he may be called up. So you might want to remember that name, Mookie Betts. And isn't it ironic, after all these years, Boston's next great prospect is going to be named Mookie.
We've seen the Red Sox do that already, moving Brock Holt, who has been an infielder his whole career. He's now playing outfield. He's trying to get some production from the outfield positions.
See a lot of that going on in AAA, even in the Yankees system. You see guys that maybe were second baseman. Jose Perella comes to mind. All of a sudden he's playing right field, center field. Well, that's really valuable. You got a guy who can play middle infield and play the outfield position. You've got some versatility, and that's what GMs are looking for now.
Two and two on Roberts. High fly ball, right field. Holt back, track, wall, leaps, and he makes the play. Measured it, made a little jump, and hauled it in for the second out.
Well, Brock Holt is traditionally a third baseman, infielder type. Because he's been swinging the bat so well, the Red Sox moving him to the outfield. He's played left, center, and right field tonight. And he robs Brian Roberts of what looked like would have been a home run. Everybody around the Red Sox, when I talked to them about making this transition, they said this guy is just a ball player. I mean, he knows how to be, he's athletic enough, he knows how to play the game. The transition to the outfield has been smooth.
Let's take a look at this replay, brought to you by New York Presbyterian, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. Amazing things are happening here. That would have hit the top of the wall for sure. Maybe bounded in. Ichiro swings and fouls it away, 0-2. Pitcher loves that. He's probably thinking 2-0. That makes a great play. When he comes back to the dugout, did you ever say thank you?
You certainly acknowledge him. Yeah, thanks. Absolutely you do. And, of course, pitching in this ballpark, any fly ball in that part of right field, you just hold your breath.
That scattered some people in the Red Sox dugout. And the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Brzezinski gets an angle, and that'll do it. A 1-2-3 inning as the Yankees go down in order. We go to the third. Yankees 1, Red Sox nothing. Chata is playing 2 highly anticipated shows at Yankee Stadium on July 11th and 12th. Newly released seat locations are now available, so go to Ticketmaster.com for your chance to see Romeo Santos in concert at Yankee Stadium. Read about this guy. He's the real deal. Pitch inside to Jackie Bradley Jr. as we start the third. The Audi A3 scoreboard shows the Yankees with a 1-0 lead over Boston. Bradley fouls it back. Bradley hitting just .211 with a home run and 24 ribbies. And for a while, he kind of lost his job to Grady Sizemore. And Grady Sizemore started off great. It was an unbelievable story. Injured for so many years, but eventually released by the Red Sox. So now it's back to Jackie Bradley Jr. They've been hurt by Shane Victorino being out. And, I've heard that he had a recurrence of a back problem in the last couple of days, so he's not close to returning either.
Bradley Jr. has gotten the job done defensively in center field. Has played very well. Hitting at the bottom of the lineup, not a whole lot of production.
Right back to Nuno. Nice stab. And a nice stretch by Teixeira for the first out.
A good pitch, ties him up. Jam shot, one hopper. Nuno makes it look easy.
Here comes Brock Holt. And let's take a look at the G. Pitter scouting report.
Well, we talked all about the leadoff hitting problems for the Red Sox. This kid leading the way lately. 300 batting average plus, 323 coming into this game. Like I talked about with that good play in right field, he is known as a ball player that can play all over third, right field, first base this year, left field, and center. And it was a throw-in the Joel Hanrahan trade, December 2012. Turned out to be a pretty good throw-in. Hanrahan, the closer, that really never panned out. Some major arm injuries. And Brock Holt, just an extra piece in that trade, turning out to be a big piece now at the top of the order.
Count 1-2. Nuno working quickly and with confidence. Big start for him. Winless in his last 8 starts, the team 0-4. Well, he's 0-4 in his last 8 starts. The Red Sox have lost 6 of their last 7 games where the opposing pitcher was a left-hander. And it's up to John Farrell to figure this out. 3-2. Ripped into right center field. That is going to be in there for a base hit. Cutting it off in the gap is Ellsbury. He holds Holt to a double. Aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. Not too many cities look as good from up above than New York. Central Park, the beautiful distinctive skyline, all the 8 million stories in the naked city. Pretty neat.
You forget how big Central Park is. It's a huge park.
Dustin Pedroia fouls it off. Holt at second. 1 man out, top of the 3rd. One and one to Pedroia.
You look at Pedroia's numbers, and it just doesn't look right. Batting average in the 260s, only 4 home runs, 2 stolen bases, has been thrown out 4 times.
High fly ball left field. Gardner makes the play for the 2nd out.
You see numbers like that with Pedroia, you think right away, well, he's not playing 100%. He must be banged up a little bit, battling some injuries, but everybody around the Red Sox say he's 100%. He's fine, just having a down year.
There's David Ortiz popped up to Brian Roberts in the 1st inning. There are just 2 guys in the major leagues that have hit at least 15 home runs in every year from 2001 through 2014. The guy at the plate, David Ortiz, and Albert Pujols. So 15 home runs doesn't seem like a lot, but to do it consistently, that's a big deal. Only those 2 men have done it. 1-1. McCann wants to talk with Nuno.
Sort of the contrasting styles of the American League versus the National League. A guy like David Ortiz have a hard time playing in the National League. Speed has clearly been impacted. Of course, he had that big Achilles heel injury that has slowed him down quite a bit. It'd be hard for him to play first base every day in the National League.
Got a fastball by him. 1-2.
Those conversations you have during meetings before a game about how we're going to attack Ortiz, it's all out the window now. McCann and Nuno not on the same page. They've already talked about it. Nuno wants to throw a certain pitch, McCann thinking a different way. See if they can come to an agreement. Nuno does against lefties. He'll throw the ball inside off the plate and get some left-handed hitters thinking about the inside part of the plate. Gives him a little more room on the outside half to make a mistake.
Grounded to Brian Roberts. And that'll do it here in the third. 3 shutout innings for Vidal Nuno. We go to the bottom of the third, 1-0 Yanks. At Yes Network, your best fan photo using hashtag YesFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown during the game. Brought to you by AT&T. So Nuno has given the Yankees 3 shutout innings, allowing 2 hits. 2 hits for the Yankees against Workman and 2, and they've scored a run on Mark Teixeira's sac fly in the first. The Audi scoreboard has the Yankees up 1-0 in the bottom of the third. So sailing along here, Kelly Johnson leads off, and the first pitch is low and inside, 1-0.
Very nice.
Two 2-0 to Johnson. Three 3-0 to the Yankees' number 9 hitter. And the pitch. He walked him on 4. Leadoff walk for Kelly Johnson.
Kind of been back to the original plan for the Yankees after the hot start by Yangervis Solarte. Now Kelly Johnson back in the saddle, getting a lot more chance at third base. Kind of that time of year, you know, we mentioned it's right up on the halfway mark, a little early for the trade deadline, and most of the options now are going to come internally. Either somebody you've got already on the roster or somebody in AAA that's going to lead you into the trade deadline, and trades usually nowadays happen at the last minute.
Gardner shows bunt, takes a strike. Gardner struck out in the first inning.
A lot of that, Flash, as you know, a lot of that, the reason why the trades happen so late is because so many teams are still in it. Everybody's trying to figure out their position. Do they have a chance or not? Are we going to be buyers or sellers? Red Sox find themselves in that position right now. Can they make a little push here before the All-Star break and become buyers at the deadline?
Well, Tampa Bay on the flip side, it sounds like they're in selling mode already. David Price pitched a good game the other day. Zobrist would be an attractive player.
I really view David Price as a balance of power guy, where he ends up really can't shift the balance of power for whoever gets him. Highly doubtful that he'll end up in the American League East, though, unless the Rays are overwhelmed with the package.
Again shows bunt, takes outside 1-1.
It's funny you bring that up, David. I'm walking through the, underneath the stadium today, and Ben Cherington, the GM for the Red Sox, is on the phone. Gives me a little wave in the tunnel there, and I'm thinking, boy, that guy's going to be on the phone a lot here. The next month, these general managers trying to find out what's available and what clubs are looking for, see if they can make a match.
And he bunts. Back to Workman. And they'll call that one a sacrifice. 1-3, moving Johnson to second.
Well, the Yankees did a good job early in this game with a sac fly by Mark Teixeira getting on the board. Brett Gardner playing a little small ball to sac bunt to get Kelly Johnson in the scoring position.
I've said this before, and this is a little bit after the fact, Flash, but if I'm on the mound in this game and Brett Gardner just gives me an out right here in this point in the game, I'm saying thank you very much.
There's a strike to Jeter. Jeter singled to right in the first, and he scored the Yankees' only run in the game.
You know what, David, on the flip side, though, with the Yankees, who have been struggling to score runs, and they have some power in this lineup, and sometimes you don't just hit home runs to get out of an offensive slump. Sometimes it's the sacrifice bunt, sacrifice fly, moving runners over that can add on some runs that might make a difference in a ballgame. We saw a little more hit and running in the last game in Toronto with Cervelli and Kelly Johnson led to a run. Sacrifice bunt here in the third.
I can certainly understand the sentiment. When you're struggling to score runs, you're trying to do anything you can to get runs. But I just know the feeling when I was on the mound and that happened to me, I was thankful.
Especially with a guy who can run like Gardner right now. You don't have to worry about him.
Line drive, left field. It is a base hit. Kelly Johnson held up, so can only advance to third. Jeter's 2 for 2, and the Yankees have runners on the corners and 1 out.
Nice job by Jeter. 2 for 2, trying to come inside with that 92-mile-an-hour plus fastball that everybody's talked about with Derek Jeter this year, that he's having trouble getting to the fastballs. Anything 92 miles an hour and up, his average is way down. Well, there's been 2 92-mile-an-hour fastballs today, and he's 2 for 2. 1 to left field and 1 to right field.
That's a tough read for Kelly Johnson, too. I mean, Johnny Gomes in left field, not the greatest outfielder in the world. He chose to lay back. But Kelly Johnson, that's a tough read. Had to go station to station. Told to freeze on a line drive, read where it is. It finds some grass, and then you advance. Not an easy read.
Here's Ellsbury. 0-1. Ellsbury doubled inside first in the first inning, moving Jeter to third, where he scored on a sac fly by Teixeira. Jeter's at the first now, and Johnson's at third. Now 1-1. Count 2-1. Rare for the Red Sox to let a player leave after a championship, but not the only time they've ever done it. Pedro Martinez left as a free agent after 2004. And the year after that, Johnny Damon left as a free agent. So the Red Sox try not to get too emotional, and the Yankees don't either, because Hideki Matsui won the MVP of the World Series in 2009, and if you think it's time for that player to move on, you let them go, and you don't let emotions play in. The Yankees let Matsui leave as a free agent.
Yeah, all those players you mentioned were in the latter part of their career, past their prime.
This one is not. The 3-1. Foul back.
I think you can make an argument that the last time the Red Sox let a player go over money reasons in their prime was probably Babe Ruth, going back to the day.
I think back to Roger Clemens leaving Boston, right? He had a pretty good run up in Toronto, and then
I thought he was past his point of of his peak at that point. Turned out he was not.
He was battling some elbow issues at that point.
Runner goes from first. Pitch is a ball outside, bases loaded for Teixeira.
You think back to every pitch that Ellsbury saw in that at bat, and he saw it out of Workman's hand so early. A couple of close pitches up that he took, a good swing, he fouled off, and then a backdoor curveball like he saw right out of his hand, didn't even flinch.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. Ellsbury at first. Jeter's at second. Johnson is at third. Mark Teixeira at the plate. Count 1-0.
Signature pitch, that cutter that all of the rotation members of the Red Sox kind of feature. This is a new look for Workman this year, kind of at mid-80s, upper 80s, kind of a cutter more than a slider, and that's a pitch that he's thrown a lot more this year than he ever had in the minors or even last year. John Lester features it, Clay Buchholz. Been a really successful pitch for Workman so far this year.
Think about it, he can slow you down with the curveball, and you see the numbers for Mark with the bases loaded. Then he's got something in the mid-80s, the cutter, and then the fastball right there at about 93. So as a hitter, you really got to think about three different speeds, which makes it a lot tougher with that third pitch.
He struck him out. Teixeira down on strikes for the second out.
Well, David, you always talk about the ability to strike people out when you need it. We talked about it early with Workman. That pitch is the curveball, and that's the one that he can get a strikeout when he needs it in a big spot. A huge spot there. Bases loaded, only one out. Picks up a big second out.
Here's Carlos Beltran, who rounded out to first in the first.
One of those innings and one of those at bats. Carlos over 300 with the bases loaded, 10 grand slams. It's either going to be a big hit for Beltran, Yankees building some momentum offensively, or a huge lift for Workman working his way out of trouble.
Quickly down in the count, 0-2.
kind of effective use as the cutter. You know, Flash, I always viewed the cutter as a middle count pitch to get you a strike, to get you to 2 strikes, and then he could break out that curveball to finish. Never really viewed a cutter as a finish pitch, more as a get me back in the count, speed up the bat, get a strike, and then whatever your finish pitch is, and in Workman's case, obviously that big overhand curveball.
Grounded to first, tough hop. Napoli stays with it, flips to Workman, and he works out of a bases-loaded 1-out jam. Does not allow a run. No runs a hit, and the bases left loaded. We go to the 4th. Smokers Quit Line quiz. Call 1-866-NY-QUITS for free help today. Here's the question. Who are the only 2 players to hit at least 20 home runs in each of the last 12 seasons? We'll find that out in the bottom of the 4th. Mike Napoli leads off against Vidal Nuno. Yankees lead 1-0. And there's a strike. The Lincoln scoreboard, 1-3-0 for the Yankees, 0-2-0 for the Red Sox. So Workman works out of trouble in the bottom of the 3rd. Oh and 2. Strike 3. Napoli down looking for the 2nd time tonight.
Napoli, a guy who's been known to guess a little bit, gets a little what look like a backdoor cutter, maybe just a straight 4-seamer. Napoli probably sitting on something off speed, doesn't get it. Nuno picks up his 4th strikeout.
See where McCann's glove was set up almost in the batter's box to give Nuno that target. Shaved the outside corner with a little movement at the end.
Here's Johnny Gomes. Knocks it in the first pitch and pops it up behind the plate. And McCann makes the play for the 2nd out.
Nuno always works quick, but he's having a good start to this game, and it seems like the pace has picked up even a little bit more. The question was whether this foul ball would find the seats. It does not. 2 quick outs here in the 4th.
Here's A.J. Pierzynski. Fly ball to right field. That was in the 2nd inning. Brzezinski is durable. He's caught at least 110 games in each of his last 13 years. And that's the longest streak in Major League history. Would you have thought that was the longest streak, John?
No, I would have thought there would have been longer.
Yeah, me too.
That's a major accomplishment, though. 110 games, 13 straight years. The World Series on the resume.
He's the perfect fit for the White Sox in Chicago, especially with Ozzie Guillen managing. You know, just kind of irritable. Nobody, you know, rubbed a lot of people the wrong way.
That one is looped to short. Derek Jeter is right there. And a 1-2-3 inning for Vidal Nuno and the Yankees. We go to the bottom of the fourth. It's the Yankees 1 and the Red Sox nothing. New York State Smokers Quit Line Quiz, who are the only two players that had at least 20 home runs in each of the last 12 seasons. So we told you about Ortiz with 15, so maybe he's one of them. Let's see. Wow. Alfonso Soriano and David Ortiz. Brian McCann will lead off here in the bottom of the fourth inning. It's 1-0 Yankees.
That's a lot of home runs, too. You think about it, 20 for 12.
40.
And you think, wow, Hank Aaron. Hank Aaron averaged about 37 home runs for 23 years.
Wow.
That's how he got there.
And he goes against the shift and picks up a base hit. Man, that was an extreme shift against McCann. He picked up an easy single.
Well, Brian trying to get going, had a couple of hits you mentioned, Michael, in Toronto, then had 2 days off. Sharp single the other way. It's the exaggerated shift. Just waiting, David, for that run offensively for Brian McCann, where he can just relax a little bit, let the game come to him.
He's one of the guys that has clearly tried to hit the ball the other way against that shift, really from the beginning. Maybe got caught in between a couple of times, but no doubt looking to go to left field there.
Roberts pops it up. Bogarts is there to make the play. Lincoln scoreboard 1-4-0, leading 0-2-0, bottom of the fourth inning. Some great shots at the stadium today from the upper deck. That's behind home plate, from the sky. Good job by the crew. Here's Ichiro. Struck out in the second inning. That one's popped up. Bogart puts it away for the second out. That's a foul ball for the second. And the number 9 batter, Kelly Johnson, coming up. Johnson walked in the third inning when the Yankees had the bases loaded and 1 out, and they couldn't push a run across.
Michael Hank Aaron had 20 seasons of 20 home runs or more. We saw 12. Soriano on our quiz was one of them. That was the thing about Hank Aaron. You know, he didn't have any monster 50, 60 home run seasons. He had a handful of 40-plus home run seasons. 20 in a row he had, where he was just clockwork. Forget how great a player he was. 305 career batting average. Hammer and Hank.
High drive, right center. Holt back, track, wall, see ya! A 2-run home run for Kelly Johnson. And the Yankees lead 3-0.
Well, David, you mentioned that Kelly Johnson starting to get a lot more playing time, regular playing time at third base. Yankees hoping he can find this swing consistently, his 5th home run of the year, and that is right down the middle of the plate. Great balance as you get a look from the side. Good extension by Kelly Johnson. This ball goes a long way. Deep into the seats. Over the Modell sign.
Here's Brett Gardner. And Workman drops a breaking ball strike in. 0-1. 5th home run for Kelly Johnson. Now has 19 runs batted in. Yankees signed him thinking his swing played to this ballpark. But truncated playing time because of the early success of Solarte. And when he did play, he struggled in the field, so he didn't see as much time as he thought he was going to. 2-1.
He's a veteran guy who's been around the block a few times. He knows how it all plays out over the course of 162. A hot young player, and Solarte will get his chance, but the veteran will be ready when called upon.
And the 3-1. Right in there with the fastball. 3-2. And the pitch. That one's drilled deep to right field. Holt back, looking up. See ya! Back-to-back home runs for the Yankees. This one a solo shot. 4-0 Bombers.
Yankee Stadium back-to-back, and Brett Gardner down and out over the plate, drops the helmet, drives that ball, and gets around the bases in a hurry because he's not sure. So about this point, Gardner's already rounded second. Nice play by the fan, right in the front row.
Here's Derek Jeter. Grounded up the middle. Pedroia is there, and that will do it. But not before the Yankees score 3 runs. A 2-run home run by Kelly Johnson made it 3-0. Shortly thereafter, a solo shot by Brett Gardner made it 4-0 as we head to the 5th. Bogarts leads off against Vidal Nuno. Yankees up 4-0. The sun is setting, but we're right in the middle of this game. The first pitch is low, 1-0. 4-6-0, leading 0-2-0. Yankee Stadium is supposed to be a huge home field advantage for the Yankees. Yankees are 40-37 overall. They're 4 games over 500 on the road. Incredibly, they're 1 game under 500 here at home at 17-18. And part of the reason for that is they're not hitting home runs. Bogarts pops it up. Teixeira will make the play for the first out. Maybe guys, with the weather warming up, the ball will start traveling a little bit more. Maybe they'll start to feel better about things. But in order to win here, you've got to score runs in bunches, and it's hard to get a lot of singles and win ball games at Yankee Stadium.
Well, some of your home run hitters have to kind of play to the back of their baseball card. Soriano, Brian McCann. I don't know if you consider Ellsbury a home run hitter. Had that one big year in Boston where he hit over 30, I think.
I think you could reasonably expect that he would hit more in this stadium as opposed to Fenway Park.
Stephen Drewshow's bunt takes a strike. Count 1-1. Drew hit one to the gap in right center field as Ichiro ran that down in the second. Drew signed and really didn't have much time to prepare. Most guys have 6 weeks in spring training. Now, he was obviously in shape, but didn't get a lot of at-bats. The Red Sox needed him. He is 0 for his last 28 now and 6 for 50. Count 2-2.
Yeah, the minute he came back, he kind of suffered an injury, an oblique injury. That's just really a tough situation all the way around for Drew. He was left dangling out there on the free agent market, turning down the qualifying offer. Going to have a lot of agents and a lot of free agents next year doing a double take on that qualifying offer. This last year was a little over $14 million, which thus attached a draft pick to you. If you decline the qualifying offer, then if you sign somewhere else, the draft pick becomes the drag.
Popped up, Kelly Johnson for the second out. And now signing with the Red Sox. It was prorated. It was about the $14 million that he turned down. If he leaves as a free agent, they will not have to get a draft pick. That was part of the agreement. Here's Jackie Bradley Jr. Breaking ball strike.
Well, with Nuno struggling lately in some of his starts, a lot of question marks whether he would get the ball tonight or get skipped over in the rotation. Well, now on the flip side, you got to pay attention. Only 2 hits. Attacking the strike zone against the Red Sox.
Probably his best fastball of the year.
Yeah.
Several 90, 91 mile an hour fastballs here today. And much better location. The part that Nuno does so well is work rapidly. On the mound, ready to throw, throws a lot of strikes. When he gets on a roll, he seems to get a lot of quick outs.
On one hop, a short hopper to Johnson across the diamond. And Nuno is now retired 8 in a row. As the Red Sox go down in order. A look at Times Square. We're halfway through. Yankees lead 4-0. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Buick. Visit TriStateBuick.com for great lease offers. By NYU Langone Medical Center, made for New York. And by the 2014 Mazda 3 with seamless connectivity. Beautiful night, New York City, as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. It's 4-0 Yankees, and Jacoby Ellsbury will lead off. Workman works him high, 1-0. Ellsbury has doubled and walked. Playing against his former team, the only team he's known. Drafted by the Red Sox, came up and played for Boston. Left as a free agent. That one is driven out to left center. Jackie Bradley Jr. drifts over to make the play. Let's go back to the studio. Bob Lorenz has an update. Thank you, Bob. What a year for that young man, Jose Abreu. A rookie and just exceeding all expectations. Count 1-0 to Mark Teixeira. Sac fly in the first, strikeout with the bases loaded, and 1 out in the third. This is about as extreme a shift as Teixeira has seen. What you're looking at is you've got Napoli practically standing on the line at first. And I guess, is that Drew? Yeah, Drew playing where the second baseman would play. The entire middle of the infield is open. So Drew's at the second base position. Dustin Pedroia is in shallow right field, almost near the right field line. And you can't get anything fair to the left of Napoli.
So they're covering the right side of the right side.
Right. And they don't expect him to go up the middle because he's got a huge gap up the middle.
Getting thirsty. It looks like a martini glass to me.
And he goes up the middle. There's no infielder there. A base hit for Teixeira. Now, with a lot of shifts against him, that play is made because there's a guy up the middle, not where Drew is standing.
And instead of where Drew is, he'd be shading right behind second base. Mark does a good job. We usually see him on that slow curveball roll over to the right side, just stays right back through the middle. Keeps the barrel of the bat in the strike zone for a long time.
There's Carlos Beltran. There's a breaking ball strike. Told you the home plate umpire is Mike Winters, Andy Fletcher at first, Mark Wegner at second, and Chris Siegel is at third. The crew chief is Mike Winters. Sliced the other way. Foul ball.
Well, Carlos Beltran could have used this. Does everything right. Lets the ball travel deep. Line drive the other way. Just slicing foul. Those swings you get a double on. You feel so good about it because it's so hard to hit the ball the other way on a line like that and keep it fair.
One and two.
You know, going forward, you know, we've all talked about the Yankees and their numbers in the first half and their home record and lack of home runs so far. Beltran is the key to this lineup, and it looks like he's going to be the DH the rest of the way. Kind of shut down his throwing program, but the fortunes of the Yankees in the middle of the order really kind of hinge on Beltran's success going from here on forward.
And he strikes out on the breaking ball.
The question is he really healthy? How much damage is done to that elbow? Probably going to need surgery in the offseason. Those are the ones that hurt more, is when you swing and miss, when you've got an elbow injury.
That'll bring up Brian McCann, popped to first in the second and singled to left and scored in the fourth. And they shift for McCann as well. Ground ball to Drew. Somehow you score that a 5-3, and that's the end of the inning. No runs a hit, no errors, and one man left. Let's go to the sixth. Yankees 4 and the Red Sox nothing. Brought to you on Yesmo, which is brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Look at the fans' faces on this one as he makes the catch. Great stuff. As we go to the 6th inning, it is 4-0 Yankees. It'll be the top of the Red Sox order against Vidal Nuno. And Brock Holt will start it off. He's walked and doubled. Just 2 hits for the Sox. Gomes single and Holt's double. And there's a strike. So much made of starting Nuno in this game and not skipping over him because of the off day. And Joe Girardi got a little feisty before the game when asked about that. And he said, I'm paraphrasing now, I've answered this question 10 times. He said, this is not a rotation for just one man, meaning Masahiro Tanaka is for 5. And the most innings he's ever pitched is 226, and he's on pace for that right now. And he only pitched once a week in Japan. He said, so when you have an off day, you pretty much give the guy an extra day.
Well, we've talked about it with Joe Girardi. I mean, he will rest players to a fault. And David, we talked the other night with Brian McCann. Gets a couple of hits in the 2nd game of the series and sits the 3rd game. That ball's going to find the seats. You know, as a hitter, I'm saying I want to get back in there, get a couple of hits, get on a hot streak. But Joe Girardi sticks to his guns, resting, in this case, the starters in his rotation.
Certainly handles the bullpen that way as well. Probably his greatest accomplishment in his tenure.
Well, Tanaka will start tomorrow, and he leads the American League in ERA, and the ERA leaders are brought to you by Honda. Felix Hernandez is next, then Mark Burley, Yu Darvish, and Anibal Sanchez. Good matchup tomorrow. There's a strike, count 0-1. Night game tomorrow and a night game on Sunday. The Yankees and the Red Sox always picked for the national broadcast. Grounded to 3rd. Johnson gets a nice hop. And a dangerous stretch into the runner by Teixeira for the 2nd out. Well, speaking of tomorrow's starting matchup, it's brought to you by Verizon Fios, making life more entertaining with America's fastest, most reliable internet. That's powerful. We told you about Tanaka, who just suffered a 2nd loss, but still with a 2.11 ERA against John Lester of the Red Sox, 8-7, 3.14. And by the way, the game's on Fox, but Yankees extra inning coverage will be on Yes immediately following the game on Fox. And that's the same deal for Sunday. The game's on ESPN, and then Yankees extra inning after that. Ortiz pops one up, and that'll make the seats.
So we just do one game, Michael. I'm in here. It's been a while since I worked. I come here. I do Friday night's game. I'm out of here. See you later.
Yeah, it's like 5 and fly.
I do have an update, though. Paul O'Neill is scratched for the Cleveland series.
Really?
Slide in there. So when the Yankees go to Cleveland, I'm going to pick up those 4 games. O'Neill is out. Cone is in. July 7th, that series starts in Cleveland. Did I really just refer to myself in the 3rd person, Michael?
Michael K. hates when that happens.
I never do that.
Shift is on for Ortiz. Count 0-2, 2 outs, top of the 6th. Dellin Betances up and ready. And the 1-2. Just missed outside, 2-2.
Clearly, this is Nuno's best start of the year, best stuff across the board. Location, fastball, a couple of ticks quicker. Several 91-mile-an-hour fastballs here today.
Missing away in the count 3-2 on Ortiz. You wonder, could this be his last batter? With Napoli up next and Betances ready in the bullpen, and the next pitch will be his 90th. Fly ball, left field. Gardner cannot make the play and angry at himself.
Probably had a little more room than he thought as he starts his jump before he's even close to the wall. And really good job by the fans of giving him room there. Right off the end of the glove. As Gardner, though, a good effort and a little dangerous there.
The 3-2 inside, and Ortiz walks. Only the second walk issued by Nuno. And Girardi out of the dugout. And he is going to signal to the bullpen. Nuno's going to get a huge hand. Anybody back at home that thought he was going to pitch this well, you could stand up and stretch as well. Of Bombers baseball on Fox. Catch all the action as John Lester and the Red Sox face off against Masahiro Tanaka and the Yankees in Game 2 of this weekend's showdown in the Bronx. Coverage will start at 7 exclusively on Fox, and yes, we'll have Yankees extra innings. That's the post-game coverage right after the game on Fox. Well, Joe Girardi takes out Nuno, makes the Verizon call to the bullpen, and that Verizon call to the bullpen brings in Dellin Betances. Those numbers speak for themselves. 72 strikeouts in 44 innings. He's facing Mike Napoli. One 1-0. All-Star game's going to be on Fox as always this year, and you talk All-Stars in the American League, and you have to consider Dellin Betances. There's that breaking ball, deadly pitch, 1-1.
We saw Betances. You see the final numbers for Nuno. An excellent start. 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. Dellin pitched on Tuesday through multiple innings, and the Blue Jays made him work. He got through it. It was definitely a struggle up in Toronto.
3-1.
It's what Napoli does so well, is eyeball really close pitches. Works himself into a real hitter's count here at 3-1.
And Napoli walks, so 2 straight walks with 2 outs. That's going to bring up Johnny Gomes, or pinch hitter. Looks like they're going to go to Daniel Nava to pinch hit for Gomes.
Nava, one of those feel-good stories last year where everything went right. His season with the Red Sox this year, not quite as much. Was sent down to AAA for a while. He's back with 227, couple of home runs.
A year ago, he had a lot more at-bats which he earned. This year, just 2 home runs and 10 ribbies. There's a strike, 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Fouled into the seats. Really nice play by a fan. Not much time to react. Wow. Four 4-0 Yankees. Red Sox threatening for the first time tonight. And the 0-2. 98 miles an hour, and the count 1-2.
It's always a dilemma a pitcher and a catcher are going to go through when you have somebody who throws 96, 97, 98. Nava late on the fastball, but the curveball has been such a big strikeout pitch. See if they stay with number 1 or drop the curveball on Nava.
Grounded and off the third base bag. Johnson's there, steps on the bag, beats Ortiz, and Betances gets out of trouble. What a performance by Vidal Nuno. 5 2/3 strong innings. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. The bag helped out as the Yankees lead 4-0. Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Pepsi. For more of MLB's most thrilling moments, check out MLB.com/Pepsi. And by Ford, the official truck of the New York Yankees. Brian Roberts leads off the bottom of the 6th. He rips one down the right field line, but foul. So a couple of walks, and the Red Sox threaten for the first time, but Betances gets out of it as the Yankees lead 4-0 in the bottom of the 6th. A look at the Great Hall here at the stadium. That one's driven out into right center field. Long run for Bradley, and he made the play. Boy, he covered a lot of ground and got a great jump.
You know, we talked about it earlier. He has not swung the bat very well early on this year, but he has played excellent defense. A great look from behind home plate, and how much ground he covers going to right center field. It really makes it look easy. Catching that ball in mid-stride.
I really feel like I owe you two guys an apology,
Why?
Michael and John. I was supposed to join you in Toronto for that last series. I got to the airport, my passport was expired. They wouldn't let me on the plane. So I just want to apologize to you. I was looking forward to working with you guys up in Toronto, and I really tried. I made the effort. Except checking my passport, I was expired.
Now wait a second. That's a story he's going with, Michael?
That one's lined into center field. Bradley's there. Yeah, I guess it is, John.
It was expired, or I don't know, maybe didn't make it to the airport, or they saw something on that computer screen they didn't like.
Well, that's always possible. That's for sure.
You didn't pull a David Cohn, or, I mean, didn't they know you helped them win a championship in Toronto?
No, the world has changed. Got to have a passport to get in Canada. I had one, just wasn't current.
Here's Kelly Johnson. And there's a strike. Well, don't apologize to us. Apologize to the viewers.
That's right.
They missed you.
I'm going to pick him up in Cleveland, though. So I'll pick up Paul O'Neill. So
Paul's passport's also expired?
something got expired.
There's a strike, 0-2. Daniel Nava, pinch hit for Johnny Gomes, and he takes over and left. The 0-2. Well, by far the best performance by Vidal Nuno, and rewarded Joe Girardi for not skipping over him and gave him 5 2/3 shutout innings of 2-hit ball. Now it's up to the bullpen. The 1-2 swing and a miss. Strong inning for Brandon Workman as the Yankees go down in order 1-2-3. We're going to take this baby to the 7th inning. It's 4-0 Yankees. closing moments of the game brought to you by Pepsi. And we go to the 7th inning. A.J. Przinsky against Dellin Betances. That one is wrapped to right field. Ichiro's right there. One away. On the Cadillac scoreboard, it's 4-0 Yankees over the Red Sox. David, it happened so quickly. What did Nuno do tonight that he has not been doing? Why was he so successful tonight?
His stuff was the best that he's had all year long, first and foremost. So a little extra pop on the fastball, a little extra snap on the breaking stuff, but also location. I mean, his formula has always worked. Work fast, throw strikes. You know, the thing with Nuno is his misses were up and out over the plate, as we noted in the pregame and early in this show. And all of his misses were down, off the plate. When he tried to come inside to righties, he missed inside or lefties. His misses were in much better locations. And yet he was still razor sharp on the edges all night long.
And maybe he also benefited from the extra day.
It looked like it, because his stuff was clearly a cut above what he's shown so far this year. He averages about 88 miles an hour on his fastball. Tonight, several 90 to 91. He probably averaged closer to 91 miles an hour tonight. That's a big tick. 2-3 miles an hour extra.
You know what I like about it? All the question marks. Should he be skipped? Yeah, he should be skipped. Let's get Tanaka in this game. He knew there was added pressure in this start tonight, pitching at Yankee Stadium against the Red Sox. It's called stepping up.
Yeah, it's impressive. You know, you're pitching for your job.
Yeah.
You know, a young kid that's not established. We've talked a lot about Vidal Nuno and going through the independent leagues. Nothing ever given to him. Really earned his way there.
Betances just slipped off the mound. And now he's doing some groundskeeping there. McCann goes out and talks with him. And Joe Girardi wants to see what's going on because Betances seems somewhat hesitant to get back on the rubber.
Looked like he just got his spikes caught in the mound on his back leg. He's saying he's okay, but on the push-off leg, you can kind of see the spikes kind of got hung up, and he dragged that back leg. There's always a big hole in front of the rubber for pitchers, and that's a big foot right there on the end of that leg, and you can see how he kind of got caught up in right in front of the rubber, probably a hole or a pothole right in front of there, and just couldn't quite get out of it as that back foot kind of dragged on the ground.
And he throws a breaking ball, strike 3, his first strikeout of the night. He has 73 strikeouts on the season. 28 of 93 qualified Major League Baseball starters have fewer strikeouts than Betances coming out of the pen. Here's Stephen Drew, who is 0 for 2 and actually 0 for his last 29. Imagine you're 0 for 29, you're facing 97 and a nasty breaking ball.
The most impressive part with Dellin so far this year is his control has gotten so much better.
Serve down the left field line. That could be trouble. It is. It's a double as it bounces into the seats. And that breaks his 0 for 29.
You can see the sigh of relief on Drew's face after this double. And it's excellent hitting. Down and away. Covers it just inside the line. Excellent job of hitting by Drew. Nice play by the kid with the glove.
Here's Jackie Bradley Jr. and there's that breaking ball for a strike. We're in the 7th inning. Yankees lead 4-0. A sac fly by Teixeira, a 2-run home run by Kelly Johnson, a solo shot by Brett Gardner. That's the scoring in the game. 1 in the first and 3 in the fourth. 0-2.
Question was never stuff with Dellin Betances, even in the minor leagues as a starter. It was always control. And with that high of a strikeout total so far this year, really it's the low walk total that's the most impressive, especially considering his past of control problems. He has put it all together in a hurry.
It's that transition to the bullpen where you simplify it, fastball, curveball, and also the confidence that goes along with having some success.
Actually hung in there on the breaking ball. The count still 1-2.
And the last 2 curveballs were not the best from Betances. Both of them up in the zone, spinning a little bit. Might be time for that 97, 98 up in the zone. It's not the breaking ball that we're used to seeing.
Swung on and missed. Threw in the good breaking ball for the final out of the 7th. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 man left. At the end of 6.5, it's time for the 7th inning stretch here at the stadium. Yankees 4, Red Sox nothing, but we stay right where we are to honor America in the Bronx.
Please rise and remove your caps. And please direct your attention to the area behind home plate as the New York Yankees welcome an honored military guest and her husband. United States Marine Corps Lance Corporal Nancy Chiluro from Westchester, who served in Operation Iraqi Freedom. The Yankees say thank you for your sacrifice and service to our nation. Now, please join in Kate Smith's rendition of God Bless America.
To the ocean
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Jack. And we'll hear from those two. And also Meredith a little bit later on. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning at 4-0. Yankees over the Red Sox on the Cadillac scoreboard. And, yeah, that will lower the volume for sure on how long can Nuno keep that spot. Well, you pitch like that, you keep the spot. And you probably keep it until CC comes back, which the Yankees are hoping will be sometime right after the All-Star break. Here's Brett Gardner, solo home run and 3 plate appearances, actually 2 at-bats and 1 sac bunt. And there's a strike. Adam Warren getting ready. And the 1-1. 2-1. Wonder what that conversation's about. Ellsbury due up 3rd this inning.
Red Sox pitching staff kind of knows what the Yankee pitching staff has felt this year with the lack of offensive production. Workman really not having a terrible game. 90th pitch, trying to get the first out in the 7th. A couple of home runs have cost him. The Red Sox starting pitcher, you can't really make too many mistakes.
Really has been impressive, and you know, Workman, as we said, coming into this game, has been one of the Red Sox top prospects for a while. Broke in relief last year, got a spot start. He's got a chance to control his own destiny. They want him to be a piece of this rotation for a long time.
Grounded to first, flip to Workman, 1 away. As promised earlier, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game. Tweet your photo to @YesNetwork using hashtag YesFanPhoto for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast brought to you by AT&T. And this is from Gale Yankees. Nice picture here in the Bronx. Here's Derek Jeter. And a strike. Jeter's 2 for 3. They've announced the crowd here at the stadium. It's a big one. 48,522. It is a sellout. Yankees actually first in the American League in average attendance, over 41,000 people per game. And school's out now, weather better, you're going to see bigger crowds, but this is a sellout for sure, and I'm sure the next 2 games will be the same. Ball got loose down the left field line.
School is out for summer. Entertain the kids now, David.
That's right. No doubt about it. Friday night in the Bronx. This is a pretty good way to do it.
Yeah.
The 0-2. Missed outside, 1-2.
That's right. Keep the little brat up late. Maybe he'll sleep late tomorrow, right? Just teasing.
And the pitch. 2-2. Derek still leading. All-Star voting, American League shortstops. All-Star game Tuesday, July 15th on Fox. Guys like Cespedes, Abreu, and Trout all with big nights, and they'll probably all be there in Minnesota. Grounded foul outside of third. Our Fox buddies will do the game tomorrow, and remember, after the game, Yankee Extra Innings on Yes. So a nice way to spend your Saturday evening. Line foul. Aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. The 2-2. Just got a piece.
Tell you what, Michael, we might have to include that blimp in the players of the game today. Some of those shots.
Great. Really great.
Unreal tonight.
And Stendel vision all over the ballpark. Pete Stendel.
Nice.
The 2-2. Jeter making him work.
Pete Stendel went from down on the field with us, David, for Old Timers Day, getting some great shots. Now up to the upper deck. This place covered.
Kept my streak alive. Gave up a home run to Jesse Barfield. Gave up one to Tino Martinez 2 years ago.
And you took the trip around the bases with Jesse, too.
I always wanted to have a home run try, and I never got a chance to do it. So, courtesy of Jesse Barfield.
The 2-2.
Derek Jeter is all over Workman in this at bat. Doesn't matter if it's a fastball, curveball, or the cutter.
Fly ball, right field, and Holt is there. Let's go back to Bob Lorenz in the studio with an update, Bob. Wow, thank you, Bob. 480 something, huh?
That's the longest there since Bo Jackson hit one. I think at 489 up in that direction as well, his rookie year back in 1986.
Ellsbury checks his swing, but they say he went around. Barfield did not go 487, right?
No, it did not. Still counts, though.
Pull it David Wells and blame the catcher who was catching. It would be me. I called that pitch, Tony.
Count 0-2 on Ellsbury. Ellsbury is 1 for 2 with a walk. Telestrate this pitch.
Oh, here you go. Yes. Oh, yeah. That's just a cookie right there. Middle in. I told him before.
I told you. I told you where I would leave it.
I always wanted to have a home run try, you know? I never got a chance to do that.
Scout report.
It's clocked at 47 miles an hour on the radar gun.
Don't know what Girardi was just coming out talking to the home plate umpire about. And the 0-2. Rounded foul. They've been asking for catcher's interference. That's what Ellsbury was saying. That he caught the glove of A.J. Przinsky. The 0-2. Well, they're really making Workman work this inning. Pitch count now 107. You like his stuff, David?
I do. I think he's really starting to figure it out. Obviously, the fourth inning, he gave up back-to-back home runs and 3 runs in that particular inning. But he's come up with a nice little cutter to complement his repertoire.
He's 4 over his high for the season. Most of that thanks to Derek Jeter. And the 0-2. That's caught by Stephen Drew for the final out of the 7th. So Workman has retired the last 8 Yankees in a row as we go to the 8th inning. It's 4-0 Bombers. Local Nissan dealer. It's 4-0 Yankees. Nuno pitched very well, 5 2/3 innings, 2 hits, did not allow a run, walked 2, struck out 5. Kelly Johnson with a 2-run home run that came in the 4th inning. It was followed by Gardner's solo shot, and the Yankees have a 4-0 lead over the Red Sox. First game of this 3-game weekend set here in the Bronx. Look from the upper deck in left field of a sold-out stadium. A Hyundai scoreboard, 4-0 Yankees. New pitcher for the Yankees. Dellin Betances went an inning and a third. Now it's Adam Warren's turn as he will start the 8th.
His numbers are outstanding as well. Overall, just 11 walks in 41 innings.
And Holt fouls it back. It'll be the top of the Red Sox order. The 0-1.
0-2. You really got to feel good about Nuno, man. Gutsy effort. He's got, well, what a relief for him. Got a little action in the skyline here. Just practicing for next weekend. Of course, Dellin Betances came in and he had some fireworks. He's had nothing but fireworks when he's on the mound this year.
A great stat about Dellin is he strikes out 43.5% of the batters he faces. Wow.
74 out of 170. Courtesy of James, our outstanding statistician here.
1-2. Served into center field. Ellsbury's there. One away. Last weekend, Tino Martinez was given a plaque by the Yankees, and on Monday they installed that plaque in Monument Park, and there it is as he becomes part of forever. And on Sunday, Goose Gossage got his during the Old Timers Day ceremonies, and Goose also part of forever in Monument Park. Those plaques weigh 130 pounds. So they put them up Monday while the Yankees were in Toronto. Here's Dustin Pedroia. 1-0. O'Neill's next with his plaque.
Amazing part about being there and seeing that happen, Michael, was just the expressions on both their faces. Goose especially was just clearly floored by the whole experience.
Pedroia hits one to center. Ellsbury's right there for the second out.
O'Neill's feeling the heat a little bit, though, about what type of speech he's got to give. I think seeing both of those ceremonies made him think he's got to prepare a little bit.
Here's David Ortiz. Ortiz is 0 for 2 with a walk. The last batter that Nuno faced in the sixth walked on a 3-2 pitch. 1-0 from Warren.
We talked about at the beginning of the game, Ortiz and Napoli, the power in the middle of the lineup. I guess Ortiz has done his job. Napoli maybe not as much, but Adam Warren doing a good job with a 4-run lead, getting the first two batters out in front of Ortiz. Now you don't have to worry about him as much.
Got it by him, 94 miles an hour. Matt Thornton is up. Count 1-2.
One thing about Adam Warren, as opposed to, say, a Dellin Betances, is that Warren has really retained his starter repertoire. He will throw any pitch at any time. Uses his changeup, slider, curveball, and fastball. 4-pitch pitcher, pitching the 8th inning.
Could not hold up on that breaking ball. 95 miles an hour, like a breaking ball, diving down and in. David Ortiz down on strikes. Well, that was a fastball that kept cutting in. 1, 2, 3. The Red Sox go down in order. Bottom of the 8th coming up. Injury report brought to you by Montefiore Medical Center, Inspired Medicine. A knee issue has shelved CeCe, put him on the DL. Before he went on the DL, in 8 starts, 3 and 4, 5.28. And he is scheduled to pitch a rehab assignment tomorrow with Tampa, the Yankees A-ball team. He's not that far away because it's his knee, not his arm, and he has been throwing, so he is not back to square one where he'd have to have a whole spring training. Craig Breslow takes over for Brandon Workman.
See the numbers for Breslow, but he has been a hot pitcher lately. A .96 ERA over his last 10 games. Got off to a slow start, picking it up lately.
Sac fly for Teixeira in the first, struck out in the third, single in the fifth. Grounded foul outside of third. Nice play by the ball boy.
The Yankees hoping they get Sabathia back will be like a trade deadline deal.
No doubt about it. Big left-handed pitcher. You know, I really, actually, you know, we talked a lot about Sabathia's velocity, what the knee problem had to do with that.
And that one is laced into right center field. It's a base hit. Cutting over is Bradley. He cuts the ball off in the gap, and that stops an extra base hit as Teixeira leads off with a single. Saw the Hyundai scoreboard. Yankees leading 4-0.
I actually liked some of the things I saw from CC Sabathia earlier this year flashing. Some of his two-seam fastballs with excellent movement on it. He really showed to me that he's got the ability to make adjustments.
Well, the numbers that we saw from what he had done previously, I mean, the strikeout numbers were right there, pretty much averaging 1 strikeout per inning. So does that encourage you? I mean, you always talk about the ability to strike people out in big spots.
Yes, absolutely. We saw some definitive changes with CC Sabathia earlier in the year, even though obviously he had some starts where he really struggled and his numbers were inflated, but changed where he pitched on the angle on the rubber, really started to feature moving style fastballs.
1-2 on Beltran.
It'd be good just to see him get healthy again, get that knee healthy, and get back out here in the second half and see what he can do. He has been such one of the great horses of the game for a long time.
Four 4-0 Yankees story this game. Vidal Nuno, 5 2/3 outstanding innings. An inning and a third from Dellin Betances. At this point in the inning from Adam Warren. Home runs by Johnson and Gardner. It's 4-0 Yanks. Fly ball shallow center coming on Bradley. Diving and making the play is Holt for the first out of the inning. Holt out of nowhere looked like it was either going to be Pedroia or Bradley, and Holt took over.
And a converted infielder looking like a Gold Glove type outfielder tonight. Robbing Roberts of a home run in right field, and now a jam shot by Beltran, covering a lot of ground, full extension. Great look on Yesmo, which is brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. Can't teach that athletic ability right there.
Great jump, no hesitation at all, right off the bat.
One out to McCann. Inside. 2-0.
3-1 to McCann. McCann's 1 for 3, popped to first, singled to left and scored, and grounded to third. Most of the left side of the infield open for the Yankee catcher as the Red Sox shift. But with 3-1 and a lead, he's looking to put one in the seats. Like that. See ya! A 2-run home run for Brian McCann at 6-0 Yankees.
You said it, Michael, a 3-1 predictable fastball down and out over the plate. In my opinion, the best hitters count, 3-1. It's the one I was always afraid of on the mound, and McCann ready for it. Jumped him on a 3-1 heater.
Take a look at it from above. And that drive piercing the night into the second deck. 2-0. Well, fans, the Yankees have scored 6 runs, so log on to PapaJohns.com tomorrow for 50% off your online regular menu price order. Use promo code Yankee6 at PapaJohns.com.
You know, Flash, the 2 counts, you know, obviously you as a catcher know this as well as anybody. The 2 counts that you worry about are the 2-0 count and the 3-1 count. But even with a 2-0 count, some hitters don't like swinging 2-0 as much, or the pitcher still has 2 more pitches before he walks them. But a 3-1 count, that's the best hitting count.
Stephen Drew gets Roberts for the second out. Well, fans, make sure you're at Yankee Stadium on Wednesday afternoon, July 2nd, for the Yankees' last home game before the All-Star break, and to receive one of the hottest collectibles of the season. It's Lou Gehrig Bobblehead Day, the second one in the 2014 Collectible Series presented by AT&T for the first 18,000 guests in attendance. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. And it's the 75th anniversary of the speech.
His hair looks great, too, doesn't it? Perfectly parted.
Nice microphone there. And collectibles will see that there's an authentic 1839 to 1949 baseball centennial patch on the left sleeve of the bobblehead doll. 1-1 to Ichiro. One and 2. Ichiro is 0 for 3 tonight. And the pitch. 2-2. Couple of lefties up in the pen. Matt Thornton and David Huff. Huff closest to you. The 2-2. Grounded right back to Breslow. And that'll do it. But the Yankees pick up their 3rd homer of the night. Boy, the Yankees could get Brian McCann going with the long ball. They'd be in good shape. 3-1 pitch deposited into the second deck. A 2-run shot, making it 6-0 Yankees. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by your tri-state area Volkswagen dealer. Visit VWDealer.com. By Deliver Us From Evil in theaters July 2nd. And by your Tri-Honda dealers. Hurry to your local Tri-Honda dealer for great deals on the 2014 models. All right, we go to the ninth inning. It's been all Yankees. Matt Thornton takes over here in the ninth to get the final 3 outs. Yankees lead 6-0. Mike Napoli will start it off. Pitch up and away, 1-0. Napoli tonight has struck out twice and walked once. Pitch high from Thornton. .33rd game. Mostly a matchup pitcher, but not in this inning. And the count 3-0.
See more and more of those kind of lines flash. 32 games pitched, 15 in the third inning.
Yeah. 3-0. There's a strike. 96 miles an hour.
And that's basically what's got him here all these years later. Thornton's been a very solid pitcher for a long time out of the bullpen. And 96 miles an hour. It's kind of been it for his whole career. 96 and up, even when he was younger, upper 90s.
Blew it right by him, 97. That made the best fastball he's thrown all year. Aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you've got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. So here's Daniel Nava. Thornton was on last year's Red Sox team, did not make the postseason roster. Became a free agent, signed by the Yankees, count 0-1, throwing hard.
A lot of things to like for the New York Yankees tonight. The power has showed up, 3 home runs, quality starting pitching. The bullpen has been flawless.
The 1-1. Fouled away, 1-2.
You kind of put Tanaka in a position to continue a streak as opposed to be a stopper. Well, that's going to be a great matchup tomorrow night, obviously, with Lester on the other end of that pitching duel.
Thornton deals. 2-2.
A changeup from Matt Thornton right there. 6-run lead. Throwing 96, 97. You can work on some other pitches. Throws a changeup down just to show it to Nava.
Count full at 3-2. And the pitch. Backhanded by Jeter. 1 out away from a win. Well, you got to stay right here after the final out for the WB Mason postgame. Bob Moran's Jack Curry will recap tonight's opener here in the Bronx, including clubhouse reaction and Joe Girardi's manager's report. It's all coming up on the WB Mason Yankees postgame only on Yes, and Meredith Morakovitz will be in the clubhouse as well. Here's A.J. Przinsky against Thornton. Yankees scored a run in the first inning, and they have never looked back. 1 in the first, 3 in the fourth, 2 in the eighth, 3 home runs. That's the formula for a victory against anybody. And there's the strike. And the 0-1. Chop to second. This should do it. Roberts to Teixeira, and the Yankees win the first game of this 3-game set, 6-0. A lot to celebrate about this one. Vidal Nuno, his best start of the year. And again, perfect bullpen work as the Yankees have now won 2 in a row. Guys, if they start hitting home runs and getting pitching like that, this could be the run that they want.
It's nice to be able to come in on a Friday night, face the Red Sox, and get Vidal Nuno to pitch like he pitched and get a couple of home runs like they did, and certainly looks better. You feel like the Yankees are due for some more home runs because obviously we've talked about Flash. Their home run numbers have been down.
And I think Brian McCann with a couple of hits, the home run, you look for him to start getting hot here once July hits.
All right, more to come from here at the stadium. We've got awards to give out. Maybe Brian McCann gets one. Then you got to stay tuned for the postgame with Bob and Jack and Meredith. The Yankees win this one over the Red Sox, 6-0 on a beautiful night in New York.